Blessings and welcome. I am Tuesday May Thomas, and this is your weekly. It's so much more than just a week. This is your tarot energy forecast for May 17th through May 31st of 2019. I am Tuesday May Thomas. Thank you so very much for joining me here at this channel. Thank you to all of the new subscribers and all of the followers at Instagram. We just got through our monthly Q&A, Ask Me Anything, which is on my live stream. Once a month, I go live with Q&A. The other Blessings and welcome. I am Tuesday May Thomas, and this is your weekly tarot energy forecast for May 17th through May 31st of 2019. I'm so grateful to be with you here. We just finished this month's Ask Me Anything Q&A. As you know, I have a weekly live stream. Every Thursday I go live here at YouTube and on Instagram. And we have a show called 4D Trinity where we bridge heaven and earth through the unity of mind, body, and emotions with spirit. So we talk about everything multidimensional, everything spiritual, spiritual growth, sovereignty, liberation, metaphysics, just all sorts of beautiful, juicy stuff. And once a month on that show, I go live with our Q&A, Ask Me Anything. So we just got through with that. I'm so grateful. I love this community. I love everyone so much. Thank you for participating, for supporting and being a part of this channel. I'm so very grateful. So thank you all the new followers at Insta and all of the new subscribers here at YouTube. All of my information is down in the show more. If you would like to stay in touch with me, go to my website. Link is right down below, or it's at my main page at Insta, and that'll take you to the first page of my website where you can subscribe to my actual website and receive my monthly love letter with my monthly blog and all sorts of information on the teachings I share. And beyond that, I will be in Ireland this fall, starting to film for a movie I am making called Grid Mind Science. I'm so very excited. If you think there's people that I should be talking to over there and you have a connection for me, write me a letter, write me an email. My email's down below. Send me a message in the YouTube, or however you got to get that message to me. Send it to me. I would be so grateful. Thank you so much, everyone. So let's go ahead and get started. We use the Osho Zen, and we always start with a Voyager deck. And I'm going to start my timer so that we keep on time. Oh, ooh, it's already started. Okay. We start with a Voyager tarot card, and one just fell out. So we are going to go with this one. We're just going to go with it. Seer, Sage of Wands. This is so off the hook powerful. Sage of Wands. Okay, let's line this up and we're going to have a read. I'm so feeling this. I am so feeling this. Maybe you are too. And of course, we are here. You are a sage. You have seen the light. Like the priest, monk, sadhu, kahuna, priestess, and shaman, you have seen your immortality. Unafraid of death, you become the eternal flame, the fire light that guides others in their evolution to higher consciousness. Your mastery of a spiritual art or discipline empowers you through energy, perceptivity, character, and purity to awaken, to enlighten. Share your wisdom and your gifts using the tools and processes that work for you. So this is amazing because, number one, this is one of my cards that I often get when I use this deck. And it's amazing because it speaks to, I feel, the greater conversation that's happening in the collective, that those of us that feel a certain momentum of inspiration, of knowing that there's an aspect of a mission, an aspect of a calling that we have been dancing with for some time. It could be for many years. We got travel already is falling out. Traveling. It is coming to that point where you can no longer deny that it is time to do the thing, whatever the thing is, to start making moves in that direction so that you can honor the gift, you can honor the inspiration, you can as the card is saying, share your findings. You know, I spent time apprenticing with my teacher. Oh, that's a bit loud. We might have to close the door. I spent time apprenticing with my teacher, and I remember asking her, what am I supposed to do with all this stuff? And she said her channeled wisdom for me was to publish the findings and to share it, to simply share it all. I'm going to close that window. Right? It was to publish the findings. So here we go. Here we are. We're in this. We're in May. We're almost halfway through this year. There's a part of you that's calling. There's a part of your creative adaptation. There's a part of the piece of the greater puzzle that you are here to channel, that you are here to share, that will only know its next place and the part it's supposed to play as you play the part that you have now. So sometimes we wait, right? You have a project, you have an inspiration, something you've been working on or towards for some time, and you wait because you feel it's not ready yet. It's not ready to share with the masses, or it's not ready to go to this level or that level, and that's fine, right? There is this responsibility that we have, especially when it comes to sharing really deep teachings or something really new, or you want to keep it under your hat and keep it sacred and not tell everyone right away. You want to be mindful about dispensing the information, or with whom you do, until it's like trademarked or it's copywritten, or, you know, there's those kind of 3D legalities. Yet there's also this aspect of, if those aspects are not at play in the reasons why you're not moving forward with this creation, with this situation, what the cards are already saying is begin. Begin your process of even creatively considering how it is you would share this information, how it is you would actually like to share this information, because the seer speaks to that part of you that has seen the light. And there is this story in this world that speaks to this aspect that if you have seen the light, it is almost a responsibility of yours to share the light with others, or to share your experience of how you came into being able to see that which others cannot yet, how you came into healing your life, how you came into having the realizations you did. So that's what the shaman, that's what the priestess, that's what the holy ones do. And you decide to do it whatever way you're guided. Some holy ones simply sit, and it is in their presence that we sit with them, we meditate with them, that we just receive a transmission of energy. It is with others that we literally take a course, a workshop, whether it's a 6-week, a 6-month, an 8-hour, day-long training. You know, there are these different ways that we can be initiated into learning how to share that which we have garnered. Perhaps it is about you creating your own online courses. That's something I'm going through in the middle of everything else right now. But just of seeing, like, what's the reality. And so it is a time to explore this, because you have amassed enough information that your train, I feel like you've amassed enough information that your path is actually ready to take you to the next shore to add to that information that you already have. And so there's this sense of, so that things do not become stagnant, that you allow yourself to begin creating a course, and whether it's literally a course that people pay you online, or it's just the pathway, that you literally begin creating that pathway for that which you have garnered, you've gathered, you've utilized, has served you, for a way now for you to pay that forward, to extend that forward, because life is moving you forward. You are invited to travel now to a new part of yourself. And this, of course, also speaks to that 3D aspect of traveling. Your life is taking you places. Your life is taking you places you have never been before. You are turned on in your psychic abilities, in your awarenesses, in your spiritual gangster know-how-ness. You have amassed a certain majesty. You have used the tools. You have healed your life to a certain level. You know what it takes. And now it's time to give back. So again, maybe that is, you're a big brother, you're a big sister, you help out at the animal shelter, you start being more present for your friends. I know someone I know just on Instagram. She's just like, hey, if you need a spiritual mentor, it is my calling now. It is time for me to give back. So many people have served me and have helped me when I was coming up with my spiritual growth. Now I want to be here for you. You know, it's like, it's that kind of a thing. And maybe that specifically doesn't call you to do it in that way, but that's the idea, is the give about, is the give back, is allowing that divine circulation of what has been in you, the founding now that you have, that you're standing on, is to now let it circulate, let it leave you, give it away so that it can circulate, because there's more coming in on this beautiful traveling that's happening. So let's ask for more guidance. And just in case, I feel like that first card came through so quick, we're just going to review, and we're going to thank our angels and our guides and all of those love and light beings who surround us constantly, who support us, who open the way for us. We thank you so very much. And all the ways that you love and support us. We are so, so very grateful. We call you in and we ask your wisdom, your divine counsel and guidance for this May 17th through May 31st of 2019. Okay, I'm getting this one, maturity. So we're going to keep going. Traveling and maturity. Ooh, 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 laziness. You know, this is an interesting one, right? Because we might have spent, and maybe this doesn't resonate with you, but for those it does, we may have spent a long time honing our skills, getting good at what we're good at, and continue, right, to practice, continue to honor that, continue to fill up with our potentials. Yet, again, with that traveling card, this laziness card is saying, so use it. Use it. Don't just sit on your laurels. What are your gifts? What are you here to share? What are you here that you already share? And how can you do that more? And of course, this reading is assuming that there's a part of you that knows that it's time to share that much more. If you're in the zone where you're like, nope, this is all about me, I need to hunker down, close out the outside world and get into myself, then do that. But this card is urging not to be lazy, not to rest on what you've done thus far, because what I'm, excuse me, what I'm getting is that that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the beginning. Even if it's been, like me, you know, close to 20 years, really, of gathering information, of sitting with something, of being with an idea, of being with the concept, of using it in your life, of getting to know it. Yet now the practical thing of, you know, making that movie or writing that book or creating the online course, looking into, you know, the physical, the 3D realities of how you can support yourself moving forward, and in turn create the correct conditions for this creation, this gift that is seeking to be birthed through you, to feel safe, to feel that when it comes, there is a place for it to land. When it comes, there is a place for it to land. So I'm getting this this example that I'm guided to share with you. So I'm making a movie called Grid Mind Science, you know, and I've never made a movie before. You know, sometimes I feel a little foolish by calling myself a first-time filmmaker or a filmmaker at all, but it's the truth. And, you know, besides little movies I've made on my iMovie, this is virgin territory. But you got to fake it till you make it, you know? And with that, though, the seriousness, so where I'm getting with this is that there's a seriousness of commitment that is required. And that I had to make a decision of, is this just a pipe dream? Is this just something that I'm going to like meditate on and like be divinely inspired and have the excitement of this idea, but never really go there? Like I might even start an Instagram page, which I have, yet that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I can post to it and it's contributing to creating a sacred space for that movie, for that creation. Yet at any moment I can fold. What are other things that I get to do in consideration of really making this a 3D concrete reality for myself and for others that might want to participate or know about it? Well, You set up the correct conditions. I've already purchased the websites. I've already purchased, the domain names. There's all sorts of things that are already done in the background. The Facebook, the Twitter, there's already things that have already been done that are sealed and locked, that when it's time for those aspects to then be activated, ignited, and for more information to proliferate itself, it's already there. And I'm not like, oh God, I should have got that copyright, I should have got that website. Now I have to put a lot of dashes or X's and slashes, and it's not the same name of the movie that when it has an underscore. You know what I mean? There's things that you can do now, that you're being called to do now, so that when you're en route, when you're on that path and you're out and about, those systems that you are with now in creation mode are already given the correct conditions to be supported, so that as you're out and about, you could be in the middle of the Himalayas, and I'm sure there's Wi-Fi there these days, because there's 5G is everywhere. So and it's just a metaphor, but it's this idea that metaphorically, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you get the divine inspiration to connect the dots of an idea, or to send this sentence or this paragraph that you're inspired with to your BFF who's on the other side of the world, or whatever it might happen, that you have that immediacy. There's an immediacy that is calling us, and it is the opposite to the laziness. The laziness, right, is when you smoke too much pot, you're drinking so much, your body gets worn out, it gets tired, you're burning your crystals, you're burning away that sacred substance that is within you, that is here to carry, to lift you into greater realms of your truth. And so as the shaman, as the priestess, as the seer, as this divine psychic being that you are and that you are becoming, we get to really mediate and navigate this territory with great reverence and respect, knowing that the calling is there for a reason. The calling would not call you if there was not a way. And so know that there is a way. Your ability, though, to heed the call is the exercise, is the initiation in these next couple weeks. And this calling, you being able to get off your bum, off the couch, or get out of those patterns. Sometimes those old patterns, they come back in, and and we're like, okay, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna consciously be lazy this week. I'm gonna just eat French fries all week, right? And you've been really good, you've gotten fit or whatever. But this week you're like, I'm just gonna eat fries, and you're like cool with that because you're conscious. You're like, I'm gonna eat fries, I'm gonna eat ketchup and whatever's your thing. And then your body gets used to the fries, and then the next week comes and you're like, I kind of like fries. I'm just gonna keep eating fries, and you lose sight of the fit version of you that you had spent maybe 2 years, right, coasting or working around an arc to get to a new place of this new body hologram. And in 1 week, the French fry can take it all down to the point where your body can ease back into those old rhythms and be like, no, I'm actually good just eating French fries. And if that's your truth, so be it. Yet if there's that little part of you that's like, okay, let me put the fries down. Let me just stop ordering French fries. Let me practice my 3D third chakra willpower. Let me speak my truth to energize and activate and get off of this seat. Get out of this realm of laziness that is not allowing any energy to actually be initiated at all. If I can get over myself, get around myself, and just start showing up as I'm guided to buy that website, to do some research in this direction, to make that phone call, that all of these scaffoldings, all of these energetic threads contain a reverberation that help to create the lattice that connects you with the 3D aspect of that thing coming to life. So again, what are you working on? What is the shaman in you? What is the healer in you? The spiritual teacher in you? What are you here to gift the world? And it may be really deep. It may be something seemingly very simple. And what do we have here? This is our meditation card, silence. Look at the third eye. The moon, the full moon is going to be here. I believe it's on the 18th, like the day after this comes out. So we are at a time of completions, right? If we follow the moons, new moons are when we plant the seeds. Full moons are when it's like the completion of that harvest. We're harvesting what we have planted. So look into this full moon and know that when you look around you and you see the state of affairs, you can see what has been planted, or what or what weeds have been allowed to grow without you pulling them out. And that's the exact time when we take that time in our full moon and we celebrate the harvest of what is here. But we also are very clearly reflecting and saying like, oh, there's some weeds in the yard that I gave a blind eye to, that 2 weeks that all I did was eat French fries, and now it's time to take that French fry grid out. It's time to tidy up the fries from the garden. It's time to release and to hit that reset button from a place of stillness, from a place of silence, a place of just being. Meditate, meditate, meditate. That place in that sacred space of just being. So that we remember that we are on the journey. We remember that we are spirit, that we are love, and that there is a higher self component to us that is constantly speaking to us, that is constantly talking to us. So that we can get out in the world and share. This is beautiful because this is what we're doing here. This is the mature version of us. You know, when there is a version of us that is, and not that you can't be innocent and mature, but that is more innocent, that is not ready yet to birth, not ready yet to go around the whole planet and talk about your idea, not ready yet. This card is saying in these next 2 weeks, this is a time where you are being ready. This is a time for you to recognize your own readiness, that there is a level. If you would give yourself the correct conditions to change whatever patterns are keeping you in that thought field of that you're not ready, it's not time yet. When you are able to get with that, when you are able to dust those parts off and say, well, where am I ready? Where am I ready to make that phone call, to buy, to invest in the reality of my dreams? You know, it's like an actor. One of my best friends is an actor who goes for auditions all the time and has to pay the union dues, or whatever the dues are. I don't know, whatever club he's in, but he has to pay the dues in order to go for the auditions for those specific types of auditions. So this is the kind of thing. He's an actor. That's what they do, right? And it's like me. It's like, well, if I'm going to make this movie, and I know this is the title of the movie, like I know for sure, and I have some extra money in my savings, and this movie really isn't going to be coming out for like 3 years. That's what Higher Self is telling me now. But Higher Self is also saying, so in the meantime, invest, you know, get that website. Everything is a website these days. So it's like, okay, so let me invest the however much money, put that down. You know, it's like we do these things to support our paths. So where in life are you being called to show up, to support yourself, to be mature, to take responsibility? He's like, I'm an actor and I work in this field, so I'm going to pay my union dues, even though it might only leave me with $20 for the week, and I don't really know, but I'm not going to focus on how broke I am. I'm going to focus on I'm paying my union dues, which means I keep getting to go to my auditions that I'm called from the truth of my heart to do. Boom, you're supporting yourself. Right? He could be like, well, that's my last $100, and how am I going to eat? So I won't, so I will, so I won't. And so I'm just going to stay here and not do anything. So now you have the $100, but you don't have that year of opportunity of auditions to go to the thing, right? Now I have my movie I'm working on, but then someone comes and they want to build me a free website, and I'm like, oh shit. And I go online and I'm like, oh, it's taken. You know, it's like, no, get your stuff together. Get your ducks in a row. You know, the spiritual, the shaman, the alchemist is capable of being a master in the 3D in the world as well as the 4D, right? Is a master of love, but ultimately through the practice of exploring self-love, of healing their own lives, of moving in that way. And so your ability to be a master of your reality, and we always know what I call God's plan is always a part of the plan. And so there's a divine question mark where we can make plans, right? Yet we really don't know. Sometimes we have a good feeling and sometimes we're on, but sometimes, most of the time, we really don't know. Yet we are being called to create the correct conditions so that God's plan, so that the plan of love, the plan of your joy, the plan that allows you to be your conscious higher self, have the right of way, so that you can be here and share all the gifts that you're here to. So because there's something about this, right? If you go on this journey, when you go on this journey, this traveling, you are going on a journey. There's like a bus, there's a train, there's a plane. And if you Okay, we're given this next 2 weeks to figure out what is authentically honest to us in a mature way that we can begin to support in a 3D way the things that we're building in our hearts, okay? So whatever that is for you that you're creating, those little areas where we've been lazy, where we haven't, where we're like, you know, I keep getting this thing that I should invest in that, or that I should pay for that, or that I should, you know, it's like I was called, there was a $125 fee to enter one of my books into a book contest. Now, I'm saving hardcore for Europe, and I could have just been like, shh, like Higher Self is all like, enter the book, and I could have just been like, look, I've got like money things going on. I need to say, I could have had like a whole debate with Higher Self and been like, no, because I'm afraid of lack, or I'm not going to have enough money for this, or whatever all the excuses are. But that's just laziness. That is not being the spiritual shaman that you are. That is not being the high priestess, the divine, powerful, light being entity that you are, directly connected with the extension of love with God, of the almighty power that creates miracles, serendipitous synchronicities in your and for the highest good, the favor of all involved. That stuff, that mojo, that only happens when we get out of the way of ourselves and we allow the way to channel through, to show us. And it is a level of maturity, right? It's being able to be responsible and take care. Like my teacher, like I told you at the very beginning, I said, what am I supposed to do with all this information? I was like Carlos Castaneda at her feet. She was a trance channel. If you've read or if you're interested to read my book, The Reiki Apprentice, all my links are down in the Show More box. And this is a true story. Some of the stuff from my youth, you know, the things that marked me, that I got to learn how to heal with my teacher, who is a Grand Reiki Master and a trance channeler. And I learned the dynamics of understanding multidimensional healing and the metaphysical tools that go with it. I took notes for years. I have journals, I have books. I've been writing about this stuff for years. It's all contained, most of it, the majority of those teachings and how I healed my life are contained in here, The Reiki Apprentice. And that's a part of me honoring that. You know, I remember, like I said, like, what do I do with all this stuff? And she's like, publish the findings. That's what she channeled, publish the findings. That's how I give back. So again, how can you start to pay back? And even if it's just like, you know, I mean, it's those little things. Like I had to look up, like, how do I write I had never written a book before. You know, where do I begin? And then once I started deciding I'm going to write a book, then I had another friend who came in and who was like, oh my God, I didn't realize you're a full-on screenwriter. You like write movies, you write TV shows, you've written stuff. And she came on board and she's like, I'm going to help you. You know, it's like as soon as you start helping yourself, as soon as you start giving back to that impulse to create, to manifest, especially when you know it's something that's true in your heart, that brings you joy, that's when all those divine others come in to meet you, to help you, to hold the doors open for you. And we know this. But this is happening on a new level because we're very conscious, because we are the shaman, because we are the high priestess, because we are the monk now. We are that mature level of ourselves that sees when we're lazy, that doesn't beat ourselves up, and that might let ourselves take one more night of French fries, but then we know enough of the French fries. And we have exercised enough of that willpower to then let the next day be the new day, and we carry on and we get off the lazy train and we get onto the momentum of how can I best serve myself? How can I best serve this project? How can I best be of service to the greater whole? What is the divine guidance here? And how would I like to create it? What fun ways would I like to create it? And what are the things that I need to take into responsibility in the 3D to hold sacred space for this idea to be safe? Okay, so that it's safe, so that you can share it. You can share it. And again, some ideas, you know, with some ideas, I know for me, I don't talk about them until like the baby's head is out of the womb already, and like the baby's already here, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm having a baby. I know that sounds weird and gross, but it's like with some things, when you really listen, there may be things like that in your life where higher self is like, just don't say anything. Just like have your experience, and when it's time, the announcement will come, and there's that. But then there's also things where it's like, start talking about this right now, because this is going to create a certain momentum, a certain field of energy that's going to get you excited. It's going to get other people excited. It's going to help mark those people who know that they're here to share with you, or to open a door for you, or to, suggest something, or to literally help you in one way or another. But you gotta give way to it so that the way can be given to you. I love that. So let's see. In closing, what is our divine guidance here? Our angels, we are so very grateful. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Okay, we have 4 cards. Sorrow. This is where we cry for ourselves. Sorrow is where it's the elevated version of feeling sorry for yourself, if you will. It's the version of that is like, you know what it is? It's that version of of realization. Like when you find, and this may not resonate with everyone, but it's that idea that when you've been eating those French fries for a long time, and you're like, oh, my pants are beginning to get tight, even though I spent 2 years getting fit, but you're back on the French fry train, and you're like, but you're being honest with yourself. You got to get off that lazy grid. You got to get activated. It's time. And you're like, okay, here I go. Please, please. And you start to break away from that old pattern that was no longer a pattern, but that's now back being a pattern again. You start to break away, reconnect, new synapses, reconnect through new grids, new pathways. This is that card that comes up that's like, oh, I'm so sorry, where you're crying for yourself. And it's like it's not self-pity, but you are awake because you are the shaman, you are the monk, and you realize that you went off course, and you also realize that you're coming back on course, and there may be a rise of some emotional cleansing that happens just in the sheer realization of I see how this is a pattern, and I see how I have been here before, right? If that's the case, I've done this to myself before, and I'm not going to beat myself up. You can be in tears, be like, I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to beat myself up with this. I see this. I'm in it, I experience it, I'm having a little cry, a little cleanse. So it's more like that kind of thing. And again, that may or may not happen for all of us. It just depends. But there is that emotional component that there's a shift, because we get comfortable in a way of being lazy to a degree of it's easier to make excuses, right? But when we start to really move energy, sometimes the feelings that we have not been feeling through our giving way to laziness actually hold some emotional charge. So when we do start to break away and make those moves, there might be like a little flush of that. And ultimately, it's really, 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 really beautiful, because it brings us back into a certain freedom. It brings us back into the celebratory frequency of this divine feminine energy, of this divine celebration of co-creationship, again, where all of those people that are here to support you, to party with you, to see you, to be like, I got you, I know where you're going, I think I know where you're going, I'm going to make a phone call on your behalf, or they just support you in your truth. I mean, that is priceless. That is priceless, which gives rise to our moment-to-moment beingness. And that's a part of the maturity of being the monk, of being the shaman, is not having it all figured out, is not knowing, right? It's the observer effect. In one moment, we can tell, we can look at that atom, and we can say that atom is right there at latitude, longitude, blah, 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 blah. Yet the observer effect, that a scientific experiment, speaks to the aspect that we can know where it is right now in this moment, but in the next moment, we have no idea where that proton, that molecule, that atom, that particle, we'll say, is going to be. We have no idea. And it speaks to that is what life is like. And, you know, when we are learning, before we get to know that, we try to hold on to everyone and everything, because we think that things are finite. We think that death is real. We think that the body is all we are, and that stuff is all we have. And as we deepen through our practices, that are spiritual, that are metaphysic, that take us with inside ourselves and connect us to spirit, to love, we unravel and we realize that there is more. There is more to us. And so this idea with this observer effect is we realize that really the truth and life as it reflects itself to us is so dependent on how we perceive it, on how we see it. And the mature monk, the spiritual, the sadhu, the shaman, the kahuna, knows that that molecule, that proton is right there right now because they are observing it as such. They also know in a split second that that molecule, that proton, can be anywhere besides where it is showing itself to be right now. And so there is this dance of either allowing for the highest good wherever that molecule is to be, 2 seconds from now, a second from now, 2 years from now, and there is also this mature practice that we have as these masters where we decide on a moment-to-moment basis what our truth is, and it's holding firm in that. It's holding so firm in that all time and space see you, they get you, and the universe gets to fold in harmony and alignment with you in order to serve the divinity of that vibration which you hold, that is the truth that comes from your heart. And so in a moment-to-moment fashion, we know what the target is, we know what the focus is, we have a sense, or at least we have a feeling for this journey and where it's taking us and the excitement of that. And we allow ourselves to be carried by that. We keep our focus on love, being the truth, and allow love to keep showing up and sharing with us and fueling us, that we are inspired to continue sharing that love and that light out in the world. And the beautiful cycle goes on and on and on. We are maturing in the way that we are getting over our shyness. We are getting over ourselves. We are getting over those particulars of self-doubt, of self-sabotage, right? We've gotten this card Seer. Even if those realms still exist for you, if you are watching this, then you have done amazing and tremendous work in terms of getting over those aspects of your tar body, getting over those aspects of your shadow. Because the seer only sees when they've truly seen their own shadow, when they've truly seen their own darkness at play, and have learned how to heal that part of themselves. And so welcome home. You're on the journey. We're going to keep exercising our ability to stay the course, to stay connected to source, to love, to light, to listen to that voice for God, and to follow its divine guidance and counsel in our life. We're going to allow ourselves to let love rule, choose love. See, and that's why in our practices with our spiritual will, we choose love. It's like a muscle, right? Your spiritual will. We choose love over and over and over and over and over again. And what happens is, right, that molecule that at one point was here, and then that we're like, well, we don't know where it's going to be after that. But if your steady signal interiorly is sending out love, 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 then you can relax into that love and know that the ripple effect of you simply being in the world is just sending out volumes of love, transmitting the frequency of love. Then it's presetting every moment, if we consider time to be something that is real for a moment in a linear way anyway, right? That then we're just shooting out the signal of love. So every moment that is coming, that has been, and that will be, is met by us with that love frequency. Well, that love then in turn is allowed to come back. And so it's working with that observer effect. It's how you see what you see changes how that thing looks, and changes how that thing looks at you, whether it's a person, place, or thing. And it's very interesting. So we're learning the value of how we see ourselves in the world. We're learning the value of how we are choosing to see the light or the dark in others, the good or the bad, and opportunities. We're learning to be mindful of our tongue and to hold tight to that aspect of silence. If you don't have anything nice to say about yourself or others, just don't say it. Just let the moment pass. Learn that your tongue will be matured, and that those words that really only truly sound like you as your master, that sound like you as your higher self, be spoken. And I know there's times in fun, and I often will say the F word. There's just this humor in words that come out from time to time. But also this level of impeccability, of really being mindful, to pay attention to what you're putting out. And the universe wants you to put out. It wants you to put, and I mean that in the highest way, it wants you to share. It is time to share. That's the message of this whole reading. It is time for you to share on that next level. And how can you secure and create the most high divine sacred space for that which you are going to share, to feel safe, to be supported, to be nurtured as you bring it into the world. Blessings. It is such a gift always to be with you here. I thank you, all of the new subscribers, the new followers at Instagram. All of my links are down in the Show More box. I have books you can purchase. Please come on through, and if you appreciate what I share, sign up at my website, TuesdayMayThomas.com. The link is right down below. On the first page, you can subscribe from my monthly love letter, where I keep in touch with you once a month with a little blog and a little post about the teachings and my travels and just all sorts of good, juicy stuff. So please do hop by. If you dig that, you can also contribute to this channel. I thank you so much for all of your generous blessings and just being here with me. I pray and I affirm that everything I share truly serves your path of spiritual growth and sovereignty, and so it is. This week, upcoming 4D Trinity, my weekly live stream is going to be all about the throat chakra and how we ground our life experience through the use of our throat chakra. That is both listening and speaking. So thank you again, everyone, with so much love. Namaste. Blessings.